You see that I'm just questioning you about as far as how we are doing this at this time. He's got these proportions lined up, and we see them commenting over and over and over again according to their sheetas. We're getting to be able to see their sheetas a little bit. So,
Yeah.
so I think in the beginning part, he tries to condense their sheetas, or comes up with his own shot. So I don't know if you want to keep going around these guys and get to know them better. I don't know who the Ri Saruk is, or the Talmud, or
Okay.
we know,
What is
yeah.
what is what is Talmud with Arizal? And he taught certain things that are not in its time. There's certain teachings that made it way to Europe, Italy and such.
Okay, wait a minute.
Ramabi.
I got some sound issues there. Just say that what last part again. I'm sorry.
There are certain teachings from the Ri Saruk that are not found in Rav Vital. He was important to the student of the Arizal.
Okay, here I see this, and he's got
He was
some.
before.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was before Rav Vital. There's certain things that are not in his time. It's called Olam Hamalbush. There's certain form like Shari Gan Eden and Vayacha Moshe that are his teachings.
The Ri Saruk.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's very nice information. Uh, okay, I have some issues with my computers. It's, the sound. Okay, so all right, so you don't mind proceeding in the weather proceeding now, especially with the
If it's a
Ri
benefit,
Saruk, huh?
if it's a benefit.
Yeah, no, I think that we're getting to know them.
In the meantime, we can continue.
Okay, let's continue. Now we come over to this phrase. I'm at the bottom now on page Tov Kuf Nun Aleph. Tov Kuf Nun Aleph. So over here, he's saying we have the beer of the concept of achora. I guess that's the backside. A chazar coming back, another concept coming back. Achid akasvin, and holds on to or attaches to the shoulders. It's not so simple to try to understand these words. Okay, so be'inim reisha achora kasvin. So this kind of says Kagirsis Rizal, that's the way he rides it. The head is on the back of the shoulders, or between the shoulders, something like that. He said, Ray Manshin is Boyer Bezecha Bedircha Beshula the Fear Rizal. So try to understand this. Says, Al Pi Divrich of Shar Maimari Rashbikan, and he says, Shed Sign the Devov, Behidra Rabba V'Chayini B'Kitsaru, so getting over here. Ke'aris Hadas Shel Alma Kademoah, which I'm assuming he's talking about Atzilus. Then he said the Tikkun Risha. Then he says that these prayers don't go together so easily for me. He says Shul Beresha Shul Olam Abriya, and this is the head that is in Olam Abriya. So I'm not sure what that means, that phrase. Then he says this Pashat Acher Kach Ba'olam Yitzir, and then he goes in Pashat that way. Shul B'Sel Zer Anpin. V'nimshach B'Bechinas Achre HaKasvim the Olam Yitzir, and it goes around the back of the shoulders of Olam Yitzira. V'Acher Kach Nimshach Ha'ara LaOlam Asiyah, and then after that, the Ha'ara continues on into Olam Asiyah. Shul B'Sel Nukva, right, which is the nukva homedes ach ba'ach, which is back to back again. So we're going around the back sides, now coming to where the nukva is, and that ultimately is where you're going, is she is back to back. Va'ayin shamshin is barishahu b'sod ha'aras ima, and then shechas the nukva de derek achre zer anpin. Now we saw this idea, that's more or less like set out in the Pirshahut. Episode Hadormita. So this they talked all about that, but not 100% easy to put all this together as the Dormita, and this is the time in which the Malchin are going from Zer Anpin into the Nukva Zer Anpin. through even going back to Ema, going back in. He says that this has something to do with these words. Derek Achreis there anpin so the dormita. Yun Shan Va'ata Navi Girsis Ibiurim No Salvim. Okay, so now that was a thought there. I think it could be. I would like to learn a lot more about that. Here's another beer. Beer Yakosham Garis Kan Resha Achazer Akasvin. That the Resha goes back to the shoulders. Kagir says Nusachach Bederach Emes. He said Volizel Bevarakan. So he said like that. Vidarko now. Ari Kan Beinian a Klipa. Now, so this is already. I'm not sure what it is. So there was talking about Shefa going after the other worlds. Here, that we're talking about a different subject. He says that's not the derech. This is the derech. The Eirich bekan be'inin the klipa. V'zech l'shona b'deluk. K'var v'rash dech b'sefer pardes rimonim. B'shar hatamoros. Ki samakel. Now, here we go over here, right? So he says that this is talking about the side of the evil. So he said, Ki samakel hu sod haklipa. Hamanuged is the Sifra of Tiferes Bekodesh. So corresponding to Tiferes and Kodesh is this klipa called Samakel. Yesh the Malak klipas Elyonos Mimenu could go Kartikev. So that name. So I've never heard this before. So he says up above that, there's this other concept over it. There's a higher level of klipa. So I guess it's Lashon Kares. I'm not sure. Cut me off. I don't know.
Yes.
Huh? What?
No?
What? I didn't know what you said.
Yes, sir?
Kesser. Yeah, it is Kesser too. Kesser Kale. So you mean to say like it's the top one. So
Yeah.
so he made the fee zecha v'yiksha hecha klipa chazu. So here we have to ask this question: how is it this klipa she'ana oimrim shekasha? We're saying it's who Samakel and his partner Baplonis. Hare Einam got klipas akasha. That's not the big time klipas. Shahara Gabiyesh Miss Alos Aleichem. That's what's one up them. Come on, this one here we go with Kartikev. Shehem Lamala Metaferis Canal, which is up above. It must correspond to the Rosh. Elavada get the garage though, but here this is really the way I explained already. This is right the way I spell it. The klipa, so Sharosh, the klipa, the head of the klipa, Ena Miskasha Yosef Edai. It's not too severe. Because it's close to the Kodesh. So therefore it's opposite. So then it says the Resha goes back to the shoulders. What does that mean? So that phrase, let me get out of trying to translate this. Amar Resha Achazer Akasvin, Vein Ikaro Shalaklipa Etzel Rosh. So the real place is there where the Resha wants to be. I think he means is by the shoulders, not up at the top. Up at the top, it's too soft. So therefore, you want to know where the real power of this is. It's from he says from the kasvim lamad. So let me read this again. So he says, what you have the klipa here, keneged shlosh rishonos, ein pul lasa kasamika. So in other words, with this kartikeil that he was talking about, it's not in the game. The real game is happening over here by the samakel, which is at the goof, shuhu neged the goof. Shuhu hakasher, that's a tie. He said, let's put in the word hakasher, the kach yosef. It actually turns out that it's worse. So we also see that the yichud, all the bad things come from this quality, which is called samakel, so the goof, because it refers to the body, and that is the power spot of where the klipa is able to manifest in us. It's not considered rosho mamish. It's not considered mamish is rosh. And it goes. We look at going backwards towards the body. So he says, I think that's what Adkan. So he says, Resha the Klipa. Let's talk about this. When we say the Resha the Klipa, Shuhusamake Lakasha Shabaklipa, which turns out, I'm explaining to you why he's the Ikra, the goof, which is where the real problem lies. He says, Achazer B'choizer B'yered Akasvin, it goes down from the head, and he really gets his strength down below, B'mako Makasvayim, B'lamata. Shulchan Mamako Maguf, which is where the body is located, Bebechinas the Feres Kedusha. So you see the level of where it's at. It attacks, it just mirrors that. Kisham Masu Kusha Klipa, because that's really where the hard part, the difficult part of the Klipa comes in. The Loba Makom Gimel Rishonis Lamala, but not in the place of this Kartikale that we were talking about. So we have just a few minutes. Let's see if there's anything else. That was a whole different mahalach in this. Now here we go to the Ri Saruk. So the Ri Saruk says, "V'bira bekanda fidarko shezana v'nachash the kedusha." Let me see. I'm not on the page. So okay, let me see. It says, "Zana v'nachash the kedusha shuhu taikish the dinim." Now, so these are the most powerful dinim. So what it wants to do is it wants to get to the head of the nachash, because all of the bad stuff is down at the end, and we're going to bring it around. The facade of the kedusha. So since it's close to the place of the facade of the kedusha, I mean, I guess it means at the top of the body, I guess. So since it's close to there you're getting all kinds of good stuff. So this now explaining this. When it says that the head is behind the shoulders, Kagir says the frustration, and Arizal, he said, that's a nachas. Shalo chosi yechol the mater of bezal v'shadocho b'minarosh. Shal shalom minarosh. So after she sees that she's not able to do that the rosh is not helping out, Oz choisech mahada reisha shalo. So then she turned the head. What happens is, or in order to prevent that situation where she's not getting any shefa or any sweetening, so he says Oz choisech mahada reisha shalo v'zan v'choisech kach b'reisha. So he said that the head comes down. Sounds like he says that the head comes down to the tail, but maybe right as the tail is finished, you can't take it anymore, something like that. So the Resha went down to the level of the Kasvim, in order to be able to get some sweetening over there. So here he's saying that the Resha is in the Resha, and that it goes down to the Chasadim, which are the top of the goof. So let's see this. That the X, what we're trying to say here, the chizah hazanda bereisha, lo choyadayim bekoyach hareisha lahamtik as hazanda. He says it lo hoya adayin, it still was not able, it did not have the strength. That is, the reisha did not have the strength to be able to sweeten the tail. So therefore, hishir as hazanda me'echad b'sel hareisha. So therefore, it leaves the zanva holding on to the head. So I'm not sure. It doesn't transfer the head of Oz. Choya mahader machzer as a reisha shalo keneged the chasanim. So then what he does is he brings his head further down with it sounds like it has the tail attached to it. Keneged the chasanim sheba'achrecha kasvin the kedusha. They're on the back of the kasvin the kedusha. So now they're both getting together, the Resha and the Zanva together, because they're attached. And they're able to, so the head goes down with this. So he says that the head doesn't have the koyach by itself to be able to bashpir. So therefore, he says that it has to go down to where the chasadim are located. He picks up the chasadim sheba'achrecha b'kasvin, and then it could be mashpia. Okay, so so basically the idea, the end is that The tail attaches to the head to get sweetened, but there's no koach there. So the head goes down to the chesadim. That's a movement, picks up strength from the chesadim, and enables to give them over to the tail, and they both go down together, and they get. He says, they both get chesed from there. That's it.
Yeah.
Called